Early 90s, explaining he's a great coach and I'm proud to have him as a friend and proud to have the times that we had. I've never been able to know why I bleeped it up. That's interesting to me. Shannon, what do you make of this?
Skip, no man is more reflective than a man that looks back and realizes he can never recapture what's lost. Jerry, you don't have to ask why you effed it up. You know why. Your pride, your ego. You wanted more credit than what you were receiving. And you felt Jimmy slighted you. You felt Jimmy demeaned you because he didn't.
In front of other staffers.
Yes.
And he did.
Skip, it's hard for me to believe that in the 21 years that Coach Belichick and Mr. Kraft has been together, there haven't been times that Mr. Kraft thought about firing Coach Belichick. He calls him Billy.
I agree.
It's hard to imagine that, that you can have 20 years. I don't know a marriage in which there's 20 years that at least one party think, hey, man, this ain't for me. And you stick together, you ride it out. Because you know that's just a rough patch. I'm going to put my pride aside, you put yours aside. We sit down and we say, okay, how can we make this thing work? Mr. Kraft, Coach Belichick, 6 times they did that. They won it. Would it been 9? They won 6 of them. What did Jerry do? Jerry's like, you did this to me? This is my issue. You fired. See, but he started with Skip. You know, he had to get a couple of cocktails there. You know, Skip, that's that true serum. That's that true serum. You get that up in you start talking. My grandma used to always say, boy, 3 people will tell you the truth. Drunks, kids, and angry people. Now, if you 2 of the 3, you definitely gonna spit the apple.
You are.
So Jerry,
and he did.
Yeah, Jerry, man, at 500 that could coach this team to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Really? You thought that, huh? I don't think, Skip, and people that weren't around, you were around. You talk about an NFL MVP 25 at running back, a top 3-4 wide receiver at 27, a top quarterback at 27. That's what you had. Charles Haley. You went out and got Deion Sanders. You, offensive line, they were putting 3-4 guys in the Pro Bowl starters every year.
I still say it was the greatest offensive line ever.
Every year.
Yep.
And Jerry mucked it up. Skip, time. You can't buy it, and we never have enough of it. They say when it's five, everybody think it's always better out there. Everybody has done it at least once in their life, Skip. Or I can go find me another you, or I can find me another him. And then when you look back at it, you say, damn, I mucked this up. And that's what Jerry did. He mucked it up. He ain't recaptured. You ain't about to get no 6. You ain't about to get 3. What you had, 95? So we bought the team in 89. So in 7 years, you got 3 in 7 years. Now you forget that out your head, Jerry. You ain't about to get 3 in the next 7 years, okay?
But in year 5 and 6, you start to say, I can do this every year.
Because
it's all because of me.
Yes.
I'm the boss. I'm the GM. I deserve at least 60% of the credit, and he was not getting it.
Right.
So I was there. I wrote books about this. I was in the middle of it. I saw it from the inside out. And I must tell you, I was shocked that yesterday Jerry confessed. That whole hour was like one long confessional. I'm going to unburden myself. I'm going to admit publicly, and he even used the word, I effed it up.
Is he okay, Skip?
I don't know. To use your point, he was having one of those days where he's facing his mortality. And he's going to turn 79 in October. But remember, the president of this country turned 79 in November. Right. So it's not like, and Joe Biden seems like he's going strong to me. Right?
Jerry, you're 79. I mean, you right mind, you vibrant. I mean, you're getting around great.
But he's feeling it. He's feeling not only his mortality, but he's facing 25 years of basically ineptitude of trying to turn this team into a Super Bowl chip because they haven't even sniffed an NFC championship game in 25 years. So I think deep down he's saying, I've got to confess to our fans, I messed that one way up.
Yes.
And I'm sorry for that. Please bear with me. You know, like, I'm still going to make it up to you. That's what he's trying to say. I still believe I can make it up to you, even at this advanced stage of my life. So I'll figure it out.
So you think we might get this in the next 2 years? Coach Belichick said I effed this up?
That would be interesting. I don't think it's going to be in 2 years. Because remember, this took 25 years, or really 27 years to do this. But just for the record, I always thought Jerry had some strong points in his favor because, listen, you want to talk about stubbornly proud? He is.
Yes.
And two of the most stubbornly proud, hard-headed men I've ever been around are Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson. But do remember that Jerry did do some good things for that franchise early on. He did pull off the Charles Haley trade, and that was the catalyst for those Super Bowls. Right. And he did have some draft day decision-making that I thought helped contribute. Right. So he deserved a little bit of credit. But Jimmy looked at him as a wannabe, a guy who hadn't coached a day in his life. Remember, Jimmy Johnson started coaching in small-town high school, Mississippi, small town, and worked his way slowly up the ladder. Yeah. And he paid a bunch of dues. Oklahoma State, and he was at Oklahoma first, and then he was at Iowa State, and he paid a bunch of dues all the way up. He did it the hard way. And he reached the pinnacle thanks to his quote-unquote friend. They weren't really friends. They roomed together because alphabetical order at Arkansas, right on the road. They were road roommates just because of Jones and Johnson, right? Yep. And Jimmy never really respected. He respected Jerry's drive and just sort of his charisma level. And Jerry's self-made. He went out into the oil fields and he struck it rich, and then he lost it all, and then he struck it rich again.
But Skip, here's the thing. Jimmy said, I'm burning the midnight oil. The coaches and I, we putting in 18, 20-hour work days. That is correct. And then all you doing is you could go and come anytime you want. I understand that you're signing the checks. And you think you should get equal credit for not equal work? Yeah,
and glory. He wants the glory.
Jimmy said no.
No. And so Jimmy, after a while, would insult Jerry in front of staffers. And listen, pride is huge. Yeah. And to your point, finally at a NFL meeting, I think it was in Tampa, the coaching staff was together in a restaurant, and they were toasting each other because they just won their second straight Super Bowl. And Jerry walks up to the table and proposed a toast to the Dallas Cowboys, to everybody. And so all the assistants clicked glasses except for the guy sitting at the head of the table, Jimmy Johnson. And he would not raise his glass. And so Jerry says, let me try that again. To the Dallas Cowboys. And Jimmy won't raise his glass. And Jerry wheeled and tore out of that restaurant in a rage and went right back to the headquarters hotel and saw two writers from the Dallas Morning News sitting at the bar and said, could you guys come over here? I got something to tell you. I'm going to fire Jimmy Johnson, and there are 500 coaches I could hire who could coach this team to a Super Bowl championship. And he picked the 501st coach on the list, Barry Switzer, right? But remember, he told a great story yesterday that Barry Switzer coached both of them at Arkansas. And I love Barry Switzer. I have high regard. I know he's done some crazy things in life, but he can coach. And that team played hard for him in '95. They loved him. They'd run through walls for him. But he said when he brought Barry in for the first interview, he's like,
where's Jimmy?
Where's Jimmy? What did you do? And Jerry says, he's gone. What are you talking about? And he said, well, I want to get both of you two little a-holes, and I want to sit you on this couch right here and ask you, how did you F this up? Right. Because that's a great question. Yes. How did you?
Because Skip, anybody that coached the game knew what the Cowboys were.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And so he's like, hold on. You got Emmett, Michael, Troy. You got this Haley. You got this young defense. And you going to fire him because of he wouldn't toast you? Or, I mean, really?
Yeah, and in the end, it just doesn't matter because Jerry admitted yesterday, it was my job to manage the situation. I was the overseer, right? I'm the owner-operator, so it's up to me to just grin and bear it and swallow some pride and just say, you know what? We might win 4 of these in a row, right?
Jerry, if you want to go toast something at your owner's meeting, get in front of the guys, you got the trophy, toast them. Why you try to go down with the coaches? They don't look. They didn't look at you like that. Now, Jimmy is a pride for 2. Jimmy is his own guy. The other guy, sure. And I'm sure had he not fired Jimmy, Jimmy might have fired all of them because, hey, I didn't raise no toes. You don't do what I don't do.
That is true. You know what? Bingo. I would agree with that.
I've been around.
I mean, it's the owner, you know, like
and that's the thing. The one thing, and that's people like, well, how do you know? Because Jimmy was going to trim the fat. You were not going to get comfortable on Jimmy Johnson's watch. The moment he felt that you were not giving 100% effort and you weren't bought in,
I know.
You got to go.
Yeah, I agree. And yet, you know, the saddest part about it, it's not like Jimmy did a Brady and went on and won several Super Bowls by himself, because he didn't. He was pretty good in Miami.
He could have justified it if he...
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
What Jerry could have justified it, Skip, if he'd have won 2 or 3. He's like, well, I was right.
Yep.
But, Skip, you can't go 26 years without even getting to a championship game, let alone...